wanna wake up in the morning where the orange blossoms grow, where the sun comes creeping into where I'm sleeping and the songbirds say hello. I wanna wander over yonder, pick the fruit that's hanging low. I wanna make my home in Florida where the orange blossoms grow. I wanna wake up in the morning where the ocean breezes blow. I wanna cast my line on the falling tide and the tarpon swims below. I love the sunshine and the beaches where the palms sway to and fro. I wanna make my home in Florida where the orange blossoms grow.
Hey everybody, I'm Betsi Burgess, a Florida Dream Painter, and I want to welcome you to my hometown, St. Petersburg, Florida, on this gorgeous day. And I want to also thank you for selecting this lesson disc. As you know, we're about to do a painting class and we're going to welcome you aboard. As you know, we also do outdoor art, and we do that on Hardy Plank. That's an outdoor product that my husband John, right over here, is going to tell you all about how we prepare it, how he cuts it, how he procures it and cuts it and gets it ready for me to paint on it. Okay, honey, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Betsy's husband John. I want to show you first of all the actual material that Betsy paints on. It's called Hardybacker board, made by the James Hardy Company. You can find this material at Home Depot or Lowe's, about any lumber yard, and it's made for tiling. It's made to go under a tile on the floor and your bathroom wall, kitchen wall, that sort of thing. It's pressed cement, so it's a little bit heavy, but it's absolutely weatherproof. It won't warp, rot, or peel. The first thing you will notice is that on the back Hardybacker board, it's scored with 1-inch squares, and that allows us to measure out exactly what size we want for our painting. Now I'd like to show you a few of the tools we'll be using before we get started. Okay, just about everything we use to prepare the boards is something you'll find around your own home. Of course, you'll need a yardstick or some way of measuring, maybe a measuring tape. But you want to be able to measure the size painting that you want to paint. We cut the board typically with a circular saw. If you don't happen to have a circular saw at home, then I'm going to show you another way to cut the boards using a linoleum knife. Now when you're using a skill saw, you should always have something to protect your eyes, preferably safety goggles, and a mask so that you don't breathe the dust that's generated when you cut the board. And of course, you always want to wear gloves when using any power tools. Once we get the board cut, we'll paint the board with what we call a base coat. And we just use whatever latex paint we have around the house and an old throwaway brush. A lighter color works best, and we've pretty much settled on a light green. Just get inexpensive paint, anything you might have laying around. Once Betsy's painted a board and you want to mount it, or once you've painted your board and you want to mount it on a fence or a wall, you want to get some stainless steel screws from Lowe's and just use an ordinary drill with an ordinary drill bit, and I'll show you how to mount the painting a little bit later. I always keep a roll of paper towels around just in case. And that's all you'll need. Now you'll notice that I put the Hardybacker board on 4 sawhorses. That's because when I make my cut, I want the cut off end not to be falling off. So it'll be supported by these 2 sawhorses, and the end that I'm cutting will be supported by these 2 sawhorses. Betsy likes to make her paintings 30 inches by 36 inches. Now the Hardybacker board comes 36 inches by 60 inches. So I really want to just cut it in half. So it's 3 feet by 5 feet. When you buy it at Lowe's, it'll be easy for you to get into your car, your van, and we will cut this piece in half. So I measure down, 30 inches. I'll lay my yardstick along that line and I mark it. There's my cut line. Okay, we're going to cut the board now, and you'll notice that we are outside from the traffic that's been going by, and you do have to cut the HardieBacker board outside because it does generate a little bit of dust when you cut the board. And first of all, as I said before, you do want to protect your eyes, so wear safety goggles, which you can purchase at Lowe's. That will prevent any damage to your eyes. I always wear a mask so that I don't get any of the dust into my respiratory system, and gloves to protect my hands. Whoops, better put the right glove on the right hand. Okay, this is just a standard, inexpensive circular saw. Line it up. Line it up on the line you made. Now that we've cut the HardieBacker board into 2 pieces, I'm going to just separate one off. You'll notice we have just a slight little bit of roughness along the edge. I'm going to sand that just slightly because the HardieBacker board is very easy to work with. And now you have no rough edges. The next step in preparation will be to paint the board. And as I said before, this is just normal latex paint, throwaway brush that you have lying around. And we mixed a little bit of leftover green with a lot of leftover white and came up with a light green paint. When you're painting the board, you'll paint one side. Just when you're painting the back side with the scored lines, you want to just kind of make sure that you fill in all of the lines. You don't have to do this perfectly, it's just a base coat. You'll be painting over this paint. Then we'll turn the board over. First thing you want to do is let this board dry on this side. And we're not going to do that, we're just going to turn it over for now, but you normally would just leave it here while it dries, this whole side, then turn it over. This is the side you'll be painting. And again, you just want to get a decent coat of paint on here so that when you start your painting, you'll have a nice surface to work with. I noticed that our label stayed on. Be sure you take the label off because you don't want to have this label interfering with your painting, and it peels off quite easily. And then you'll just paint it just like the rest of the board. Just get one good layer of paint, one good coat of paint on here will do. And as you come up to the edges, make sure you get the edges. That way, when you display your painting, it'll have a nice finished look. I mentioned earlier that there's an alternative way to cut the HardieBacker board, and that will be to score it with a linoleum knife. You can also pick up a linoleum knife when you're at Lowe's in the flooring department, and that is where the HardieBacker board will be, in the flooring department near the tiles. So I put my yardstick along the line I want to cut, and then you make several deep cuts with your tile knife. Okay. And then you'll see that the board will just break right along the line that you scored. Work it back and forth a little bit. Comes right off. Now you'll notice here we have a little bit rougher edge than we had with the saw. And again, because this is easy to sand, you just take your sandpaper, sand that edge off, the edge here, and you will notice that these boards have already been painted. But so now you have, in case you have a smaller area that you'd like to place a painting in, you have a board ready to go. I haven't had the benefit of Betsi's painting classes yet, so I've drawn my own painting here just to show you what the board might look like. Now if you want to mount the board outside on a wall or a fence, the first thing you want to do is drill holes in the corners of the board. You would use a normal drill bit. You don't need a special bit. Drill your holes about 1/2 inch from the corner of the board. You can see that the Hardy backer board drills quite easily. Then I'm going to put a screwdriver bit into my drill. I would go up to the fence, make a mark on the fence, which would have gone right through. And what I forgot to tell you is, you also need to drill a hole in your fence for the screw to go into. Now you use the screwdriver bit. Take your stainless steel screw. Now we recommend that you use stainless steel screws because they won't rust. You've probably seen screws on a fence that have rusted and will stain down the fence. You don't want to stain your painting. Place your screw in the hole. Put it up next to the hole in your fence. And screw it in. Once you've tightened up the screw, your painting will be affixed to your fence or wall. Now if you're like me and you'd like to practice a little bit so that you'll have a little bit more finished painting before you try to decorate your garden or your yard or your fence, what I suggest that you might think about is buying a piece of pre-cut plywood at Lowe's. This only costs about $2. You'll be able to base coat it in the same way as we did the Hardy board. Paint your painting on this for practice. You can paint over it many, many times. Another way to practice is to go to your local thrift store. Thrift stores usually have an area where they have photographs and paintings. I picked this one up yesterday for $1.99, and it's a framed canvas. I'll be able to base coat what's on here and then follow along with Betsi and paint your painting here just for practice. So these are two simple ways that you can get started today, and then as you get ready for your real painting, you can prepare your Hardy board.
Hey everybody, my name is Betsi Burgess and I'm the Florida Dream Painter. On our first lesson you met my husband John, and he showed you all about how to work with Hardy Plank, which is the product that we use to create an outdoor painting for your garden, your yard, your patio. These paintings are intended to go outside. However, some people do place them inside, but they're not really intended to be framed. They're very casual and a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, we're going to have a great time today because we're going to learn to paint together. You might see here there are a few paintings as an example of my work, and one of them is this painting of a beach scene. This painting is what we're going to learn to paint with my cousin Sandra. She's going to be our student. I'd like to introduce to you Sandra, my cousin. We grew up here in St. Petersburg, and this is the place of our earliest inspiration with this beautiful tropical paradise that we live in. So we're going to leave you now and get ready to paint. Okay, we're here in my garage, and that's where we're going to learn to paint. And you know, I believe everybody can learn to paint. But one of the key things is to have a space. I'm really grateful because I have this great space in my garage between my refrigerator and my hot water heater. I got my laundry over here, and I can run in and get a Coke if I need it, or I can run outside and water my plants. And so it's very convenient for me. But part of what you need to do to become a painter is to find a place in your house. Even if you have a small apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, let's say, or a studio, you can take a piece of that backer board, put it over your stove top, set up your supplies, bring them out of a pantry or a cabinet, and you are good to go. So here we are in my garage. The only thing that I must ask you to consider is light. If you paint outside, then you have natural light. Inside in a kitchen, you may have a fluorescent overhead. That's just fine. But in my space right here, I want you to note that I have these shop lights. They're really inexpensive. You can get them at Lowe's for $7 a piece and put a couple of bulbs in them and you're good to go. So here we are in our space, and we're going to learn to paint today with Cousin Sandra. Well, we're going to be painting with acrylic paint, and that's a water-based paint. So we have to create a wet pad because that is how we will use that instead of what you might be familiar with as a palette, okay? We can't use a dry surface, we need to use a wet surface. You can buy this commercially for about $30 to $40, but I'm going to show you today how to, as a new beginner, as a new painter, how you can put a wet pad together very economically. You know, in the grocery stores, Sandra, where you've got cookie tins and turkey pans and whatever. Well, these come in a 2-pack. They're about $2, and you want to start with this. It's a nice hard surface, and we will create our wet pad with, first of all, a Turkish towel, just a simple hand towel. You want to get that nice and wet, hon?
Hot water?
Yep, hot water is good. Yeah, that's the best. All right, wring it out, just gently wring it out. We shouldn't be dripping wet, but wet enough to contain the moisture. Okay, that's great. And then the same thing with the paper. Now this paper is magic paper. It is something called Stay Wet Flow Through. It will not pill, it will not shred, it just brings the water through the bottom of the paper and keeps your paints nice and moist. That's the key. If you were to just squeeze out a tube of acrylic paint on a dry surface, it would dry up on you very quickly. Not instantly, but quickly, you know, within 3 or 4 minutes. So this is a wet pad that you can make at home, real easy, costs you a couple bucks, and you're ready to paint. Okay, we're going to get started here. You ready?
I'm ready.
You sure?
What is all this?
Well, first of all, I think you better cover up a little bit. Let's put these on your hands. As you can see, they've got the fingers cut out so that you can use the tips of your fingers. You're going to need to have that sensitivity. And you better put this on because we get wild and crazy and throw paint around and have a good time. But we do get pretty messy. And you can see that we've put drop cloths everywhere so that I don't get paint on the refrigerator and the hot water heater, etc. Okay, there are a few things then that we're going to need to talk about first, and that's brushes. We talked about taking very wide, big, broad strokes to create the sky and the water and the beach, okay? So this is an example of a brush. You can get down at Lowe's. I use these throwaway brushes. You know, this is the most expensive. This is like $1.50. And these are older versions of the new one. And as you can see, and I love them because as they get older and they fray, I never throw them away. I use all these little frayed ends to create texture. Okay, so these are real inexpensive. You don't need to pay any more than $1.50, $1.50 to get a group of really great brushes that over time, and you can see they're dripping because I always keep them in the water.
I noticed.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, now those are the background brushes, but these are the detail brushes. All right, now that's about what I use, no more than those. The first ones you saw are the bristle, just a polymer, but these are a hog's hair. Now I'm a heavy-handed painter, so I like a really stiff brush. We'll see how you develop your technique, but let's start with these first.
Right.
Okay, now the next thing is the paint. All right, what color is?
What are these, my heavens?
Well, what I do is I keep all my colors in bags so that I know I don't have to go sorting back in the bottom of a bin for the color I need. I keep them in a bag that's very handy. So you can see it's a mess, a bit of a mess, but that's all right. So this is a good one to start, Sandra, because we're going to do what? Sky and water. So let's go to the blues.
Okay.
Pick a couple of blues.
Any I like?
Yes, because we're going to blend and create a sky. I mean, if you look at the sky in nature, of course, on a clear day it looks very, very same color, but if you look deeper and longer at the sky, you'll see a different striations of color. Okay, so let's get them right on. Let's put it right on your wet pad, honey. Just squirt it right out there, and we're going to mix a lot of this together. Here, I'll let you. Okay, what we've got is in a cobalt family. Prussian is a very dark navy blue. That's not a color we would do at sky. It's greater for the water. So we'll keep this separate for now.
Okay.
All right. Let's see, you got that. Now this is one of my faves. This is the light blue permanent, and now lots of white. Okay, so we're going to be painting the background. What colors are we going to need? It's sky, water, beach.
Obvious. Blue.
Yeah. I
Blue.
see you've put some nice blue out there.
Blue, and sand.
That's right. So I think you're ready to go with the paint. Okay, a little more water. We want a lot of water. All right, you're going to need to stand up and have a little strength and vigor for this. All right, and if your paint goes everywhere, it's all right. Okay, you always want to have enough paint and enough water in that brush. Okay, start covering and work.
From the top?
Yep, that's okay. You okay? I see you have a little bit of a drip, and that's all right. That'll get covered up. Keep going. All those little texture pieces have to be filled. That's right. You'll get a nice smooth painting that way. All right, I'm just going to show you one thing,
okay,
if I might. Okay, let's get nice, even strokes. Lots of water, lots of paint. If the paint flies all over the room, well, you've got the drop cloths. Okay, keep going. Go back, smooth it in, blend it in. All right, don't forget, this is your first coat. This is blocking in. You're getting the paint on the board. Okay, where's your horizon line?
What about the sides?
The sides, yes. Please cover the sides.
Okay.
Because even though, we don't frame these, so you get a nice, neat edge when you paint the sides. In fact, while you're doing that, I'll get a few of these little touch-up places. Okay, here's your horizon line, right here. Okay, let's paint that sky right up to there. Very good. Lots more water, lots more paint. Vigorously, dear.
Vigorously, okay.
Yep. Keep that brush moving. Very good. In this case, I would not use the end. You want to use the edge of the brush when you're down at the line, but otherwise, you want to keep that nice and flat and straight across. Did I just get paint on you?
Nope.
See, that's why you need a...
Well, that's what I was going to say. I just did
All right,
it on
let's
my
keep
suit.
going. Keep going. Get it nice and filled in. Fill in these missing pieces here. Go back. See how it's already starting to dry?
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little more water up there where you first put it on.
Okay.
Okay. Now some people use retardant, a lot more white. I think the sky you want to keep a little on the light side. There you go. That's good. That's good. Okay, that means more water. That's drying.
Okay.
Okay, good, good. Okay. I'm going to come behind you on that because I want to fill that in. I want to keep that nice, smooth.
How do I get to
texture.
the horizon here?
You're at the horizon right there. You made a
Right here.
horizon mark.
Okay.
Okay, now let's take the edge of that brush. Right. There you go. That's good.
Oh,
Doesn't have to be perfect on this side. Okay, you got a sky. That's the first base coat of the sky. But I don't like this. See, a horizon is flat. Keep that flat. Keep that nice and flat. There you go.
More long strokes.
Yeah, long, long, straight across.
Okay.
You know? Okay. I think if you're in an airplane and you're looking at horizon, you might go like this. But when you're on the on Earth, okay, very good. Now, we're going to move to water. See how fast this goes?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to stay in the blue-green family. I think you need to put a little green on that pad to get a little
More green.
different feel on the water. That's right. Well, you're in the blue bag. You need to go to the green bag.
Okay. Green bag.
Yeah, we
Okay,
keep
here's
all
the
of our
green bag.
colors in a bag so you can grab for it fast. That, you've already used that. That was a Turk. So
Okay.
let's go to something like in this family. Give a little darker. Okay. That dried up a little bit, so we're going to have to, oops.
Squeeze it.
There you go. Okay. So let's take that brush that's got plenty of that paint in there, get some water, add some green, some of that dark blue again.
What color is the green?
That's a,
Ready? Am I allowed to hit it?
you know what? I'm not sure. It's phthalo green, of course. How did I forget? Okay.
Not
Keep
enough
going.
water?
Not enough water. You always got to keep a lot of water and a lot of paint on your brush. Okay. Let's try to keep that horizon line, but I want to just show you. Get the heel of that brush and just drag it right along that line, just like that, okay? Just like that until you get a nice,
What, did you switch it to the other side?
yep. There you go. I'm going to move this
Okay.
guy because he's in my way. I'm not getting a clean edge down here. I'll fix that. Okay. You're doing great, cuz. All right, where's your beach line? Oh, I think it's right here.
I think
Okay.
it's about right here.
It's right there, exactly right. So you want to bring that water, the band of water, down to that beach line. Okay, and don't forget, lots of water, lots of paint. So many of my new students, you know, that's the one thing that they have trouble learning, working with acrylic. Oh, that looks great. All right, now while you're doing that, I'm going to run over here to this utility sink and clear our water because we're going to want clear water for the beach because we're going to white. But
Okay.
I'd like to see you straighten that out. So dip that in water one more time, get some more blue-green on your brush, and use the heel of that brush and just straighten that line out. I'll be right back.
It's dripping.
Okay, that's all right. You'll catch it in the next coat, but in the meantime, you know, get a little of that. That's what's great. You can, you know, while it's wet, you can just take it right off of there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I have this handy, and what I'm going to do is just see this one little edge right here. I'm going to catch that for you, and I'll catch this here. All right, very good, very good. Let's get the white brush. I'll take that blue brush and wash it off for you. And you can
Okay.
start with
So we need
white.
to keep this filled with clean water when we mess
Yes,
it up.
it's
like
very
that.
important, especially when
Okay.
you're going from an intense color like blue and green to just white. You're going to need to that clarity of color. Now you've got some of your blue and mixed in with that white, but that's going to be fine. You'll just cover all that up. Okay, go
Okay.
for the sand.
Okay. Does it matter what size brush I use on
Big
this?
wide brush again. Big, long, wide strokes.
Okay. I think I found it. Ooh. Not enough water.
Yep, always keep that water. Lots of water. I'm going to help you out here on this side. It's a big painting, cuz. So I'm going to help you out on this side. Don't forget those edges you talked about. That'd be nice to cover those up. But don't forget, this is our first background coat. This really has to cover the texture of the hardy board that we're working on.
The dimples in
Yes, the dimples in it. You want to cover those up and make a nice, smooth surface.
it. Boy, I don't realize how much water is needed to make it supple.
You're so right, and in fact, you know, one of the things that you need to do when you're selecting a site for your little workstation, whether it be your kitchen or a patio or whatever, is water access. So we're real lucky here because we have a utility sink of just a plastic sink next to the washer dryer, and gee, if I mess it up and get too much paint on it, I just clean it up or I'll buy a new one for, you know, $50. Okay. You're almost covered, and I see that you've done a terrific job in getting those little dimples, those little texture pieces on the surface of the board cover.
You know what I saved to last?
What's
the
that?
hard part, melding these two.
Yes, I know. I see you. I see you've done that.
How?
Oh, but you can do it.
Did you use the heel? And
Yeah, use the heel again. There you go. There you go. Isn't that nice? And every now and then,
start at the end.
you can. Yeah, that'd be fine. Either way, just as long as you get that beach line done. That's terrific.
Don't drag it.
The other thing is you can, you know, is that a little, let's see, stand back a little bit. What do you think? You think that's even?
It's pretty even.
Oh, it's a little, but
It's pretty even for the surf.
listen, for your first time, I think it's terrific. Okay, I think it's a little like that. Smooth her out. Okay. Now see how we've gotten a little green in that white paint, but you see, that's okay. That's okay. Because it's wet and you're not going to really cover it up while it's wet too much. So this is great. We are ready to put this outside or put it aside and let it dry. And it needs to hard dry. And then we put on the second and the final coat. It needs to hard dry because when you put that second coat on, you don't want that anything wet underneath it because it might lift that first coat out, and then you'll have like a bleed spot. You don't want that. Okay.
Great. I feel excited.
Okay, let me just take it off of your workstation, and I'm going to put it outside to dry.
Great. I'll cover my palette.
Oh, yes. Okay, we're going to sit this here to dry, and we're going to come back at our next lesson and do clouds. Okay, everybody, this is our next lesson, and I will say that this is a challenging lesson. So listen up, guys, because this is going to be a little tougher than norm. I find it always to be challenging for me, but I get real excited about it because it's a wonderful thing to do, because you're painting the sky with clouds. And we're going to lay in the clouds while the sky, the blue color, is still wet. Okay, before we do that and jump into it, let me just show you a few things. We've put a lot more paint on the wet pad because we're going to need more paint. We've added more of the blues that we were using previously. We added yellow. Okay, that's cadmium yellow, cadmium light. And one of the reasons that we've added that, although you don't think you see yellow in a sky, oftentimes when you look at the horizon line, you'll see sort of like a haze. Well, we try to create that, a little bit of a haze with some yellow mixed in with the sky blue. And then, as we indicated at the last time, we add a little sparkle to the sky by putting iridescent. We use a little silver and a little gold, and we'll just work that through the sky. And so now, Sandra, if you're ready to jump in.
I'm not up to the challenge.
Yes, you are.
It's
you'll
tough.
be great.
It's tough.
Oh, I know. Well, we want to use that big flat brush.
Okay.
Okay? And what we'll do now is start with adding that next layer of blue. Okay, so let's get that blue mixed and blended to the desired color of blue, the base color of blue that you'd like. Okay, we're adding a little aqua, we're adding a little cobalt, and then a predominant share of the light blue permanent. Okay.
Light blue permanent.
Right.
Okay.
All right, I'd even put a little white in there. That's looking a little aqua to me. A lot of water and a lot of paint. Okay?
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
We ready?
Yep, now you got a lot of water in there, so you may drip, so you always want to have your rag handy. Okay, let's start up in that corner. Straight across. Straight across.
Enough water.
Okay, little more paint, it's a little thin.
Get my drip.
Yep. Okay.
Little drip.
I got it. And I'm going to fill in those little texture spaces in that hardy plank. Okay, I'm going to help you out on this first time. I think you're going to need a little more of that cobalt. Not much, but that's looking a little turquoise to me. Okay, nothing wrong with that. There are some days that the sky reflects that kind of turquoise, but there you go. Okay, I'm looking at the way you're stroking and I'm seeing this sort of roundness. Try to keep that brush. Yes. Okay, let's go back and correct that. You might add some water. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, I'm going to help you out a little bit here because we want to keep this sky nice. You can even move your body, Sandra, and I don't care if you mess up my garage.
Which I could do.
Okay, and I'm even going to add a little more blue. That's harsh, but I'm going to just take it in there.
A little more water.
A little more water, okay. Okay, once you're used to this, you can do it yourself. You don't need somebody, another hand here. I can guarantee that because I do this all the time. Okay, bring it across. Don't dally. There you go. Okay, even that out.
Get my drip.
Okay.
Get my drip.
Okay. We can always paint over that drip. All right, and the next thing we want to do now is when we're going to get that, see that love, that striated look. All right, now we want to get that gold and silver, and this is where we want that feathered brush, okay?
Okay.
That worn feathered brush.
Put this one in the water?
Yeah, put this one in the water.
That one in the water.
Okay. Now, let's just lightly touch in the sky with silver. And do it all the way through. Okay, just
from starting and end, or put it in?
You could, yeah, just try it. Well, I'm going to just let you alone and do it where you think it looks great. Okay, we want to just blend it in, but if you blend it too much, you'll lose the iridescent part of it.
Okay.
Okay, so bring the silver all the way down. That's it. Good. Another couple of, yep. See, I don't like that. That looks like a brush stroke. I think you want to just blend that in a little bit. Okay, a little more silver. It's really, once you have this completed, you'll see that it adds that depth. Not only that, but when it goes outside, because this is going to be an outdoor piece on your fence out on Madeira Beach, then when the sun hits it, you'll get that shine, and it is just glorious.
How do you know when it's
all
enough?
right? We can't
stand back.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, now watch me. I'm going to put some of the gold in. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of gold. Maybe that's a little too much. Yeah.
Changes it.
Okay. Okay, again, that feathery. All right, here you go. All right. Okay, work fast because this is drying. You don't know it. Yeah, it's okay because we're not done with the sky yet. Okay, now while you are finishing that gold and silver, I'm going to take that yellow haze that I told you about, add a little gold to it, and I'm going to just put it all on that horizon edge. Is this too
heavy, Betsy, right there?
Yeah, I would feather that out a little bit, yeah, but do it fast because that paint is drying. Okay, I'm going to add a little white, a little gold to that. Okay.
Oh, I see what you mean about the horizon.
Yeah, you see all of a sudden that horizon now looks far away.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, now, I wish I could say we were done. We're not.
We have to hurry more?
Yeah, hurry. We're gonna put clouds in there.
Oh my God.
Okay. We want to work with this guy now. Everybody has their own style, their own technique. This has worked for me, and that is to lay in clouds while your sky is wet. I think it probably happens that way in nature, actually.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to make some roundy. See, that's a little dry and a little heavy on the white bits. Okay. In fact, I'm going to...
What did you do there?
Okay, what I did is I got a bigger brush to get rid of some of this white. It's a little too white for me. Okay, and I'm going to just make this a great big tumble of clouds on this beautiful beach.
Can our viewers see that?
Let me just step aside a minute. Okay, I'm going to let you do the other one. Let's have one tumble down that side too.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes, just as a thought, when you're doing that, just sort of straighten them out. They're floating up in the air. You know, we've covered up a little of that silver and gold, but that's all right. It's very natural. Okay, let me see.
How about here?
That looks good, but I think
mushy.
a little mushy. Just draw it out a little bit.
Okay.
Feather it out a little bit. And the same up in here.
turning my hand like that.
And see this, you can see those, you need to feather that out a little more. That's it. That's it. And if you find that it doesn't work, you can always take those ends and even
What's your
bring
motion?
them down.
What is your
sort
motion?
of a circular motion, you know, like when you learned your first penmanship class. Okay, now this cloud is laid in there, but it isn't finished because we're going to show you a secret later, but it has to hard dry. Okay, that looks great. We'll do 2 big clouds, but you ever notice when you look way out on the water that at the very horizon line there are some smaller little clouds that just sort of sit on the above the earth? We're going to put a few of those in too. Okay.
And what's your stroke?
Okay, this is again a little round.
And what brush?
And I'm using now my detail brush, okay?
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna let you try. Let's do a couple of those. Little puffy clouds along the
Just
horizon.
one way, and so I hold the brush back like this.
You can, yeah.
And I just kind of.
Or, you know, you could do it, you could push the brush a little. Make sure that cloud is sitting right above that water, you know? You've seen that, especially down in the islands and all, and out by Paso Grill. When you can see way out. Oh, that looks great.
Too heavy?
It's a little heavy. Yeah. Actually, you got a rag there? This is a little trick. You can just make that, excuse me, I think I'm right in the way of the camera. But we can just, there you go.
Yeah, that actually really looks good.
You like that? Okay, well, you just did your first section of clouds. What we'll do is we'll let this hard dry, come back, and we'll establish where the light is coming from. Where is the sun in the sky this day, this fine day? And then we will highlight the clouds based on where we believe the sun to be. And then that sun, and that will then dictate where all the light comes in the painting.
Great.
Okay? As you know, we've done the clouds, but they're still drying, so we're going to use that dry time to finish the rest of the painting. We've got this whole area below the horizon line that we can work on. Okay?
Right.
We've added a little green, right, Sandra?
We did.
What color? Phthalo green.
Phthalo green,
has a little
okay.
has a little blue in it, and that we might need that as we build that water and give it some texture and some striation. Okay, we're going to approach the water very similar to the sky, only it's going to be a little deeper, which is to say that we're going to start with maybe a darker to the back, bring it lighter. You can use that aqua, maybe some white in there, and as we get to the beach line. As you know, in nature, this is more shallow. So the deeper, the further out the water is, the bluer it is usually.
Right.
Usually, if you're
That's
down in the Caribbean, it isn't always that way. But anyway, so we're going to create that depth by doing dark to light. You ready to do that?
I am.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and use that brush. That is the wide brush. Nice wide strokes. Nice clean line for the horizon. And then moving to a lighter and adding a little green maybe. Okay,
This time I'm not going to drag this shirt in the paint.
Okay. Yeah, because then okay.
Okay, so I start with a little bit of blue.
Good.
This Prussian blue.
Right. No, that's a cobalt. This
Cobalt
over here
blue.
is a little Prussian. I added that
Okay.
too. Now that's almost a navy blue. So
Okay.
maybe you get a little in there. If you don't like it, you just lighten it up. That's good. Yep, that's great. And then we get a little green.
Okay.
All right. Now just blend that all together and don't forget the water. Okay? All right. Now let's nice wide strokes all the way across. Don't worry if it drips. I'll catch the drips. Okay. All right. Well, guess what we've discovered? That the dark part of the paint is in the middle of your brush.
That's true.
Okay, so maybe what you want to do then is take some of this dark paint, do it on the heel of the brush, and drag that right across the horizon line. Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to clean that up with a smaller...
What size?
One of my little detail brushes, you know.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do that while you continue on. We're going to get a nice smooth surface. Then we're going to add some... all right, now we're going to move toward turquoise. Toward a lighter blue turquoise. And like I said, I'm going to go back to my detail.
Oh, too light.
Well, we'll blend it in. It might not be too light for being near the shore. I kind of like that. Okay, but I'm going to try to get that horizon a little deeper. I'm only doing this to sort of give you a lesson while you're doing the work.
Okay, now, are my strokes straighter, Teach?
Let me see. That's looking great. That's looking great. Those are drippy. There's a little more, you know. See, catch those drips.
Okay.
Make it nice and straight. Don't get nervous.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, what do you think?
Let me see.
I need a little bit more paint down here, I think.
I think you do. Yep. A little more turquoise. Oh, that's looking really pretty. Really pretty. So we don't want to fuss with this too much longer because we need to add some things. Yep. Don't make it look, see how nice and striated it looks? It has some, gives it some depth. That's enough.
Okay. I can't
All right,
get
now.
by the bottom. I need to get by the bottom.
All right, well then try this, you know. Try
Okay,
this.
let's
Well,
see.
okay, while you're cleaning up that edge along the bottom, what I'm going to do is again take one of those feathery broad brushes. And by the way, a friend of mine had a really good trick. If you're brand new and you're starting out as a painter, just go get yourself some thinning shears. Cut
Isn't
side.
that a great
yeah.
idea?
Isn't that a great idea?
Great idea. I wish it had been my idea.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to put that on the website, you know, because we have a whole list of items that you need to start out painting. Okay, now what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to just take the feathered end of this brush and put a little white in it. And I'm going to just, because you know how the sun hits the top of the water and it makes it look a little on the shiny side. Okay? And I want to make sure that they're nice and straight across like that.
That's wonderful.
You
it
like that?
changes it immediately.
Okay, then here, you try it.
Okay.
Look, yeah. Okay, they're looking great, great. Just pull it all the way
Pull
to the end so it doesn't look like you just came
okay.
along
Okay.
with a brush. A
Now
little more
that's
white. You
changing.
just need a little more
Okay.
white.
Any water?
White, just right in there, right on the tips of those things.
Any water?
Not right now.
Okay, and on the tips of it?
Yeah, right on the tip, because then you'll get that feathery, oh yeah, okay, that is terrific. All right, and then just take that a little bit across like that. All right, now we're going to take that very same feathery brush, get a little cleaned up, and we're going to go back into that gold, because that light is going to play off the...
Oh, you must be holding it very lightly.
Yeah, very lightly. Okay, I'm going to let you hold it on that side. A little gold, and then we're going to do a little silver. Because sometimes when you look at the water and the sun is shining on it, it looks like silver and gold, you know, or diamonds. That's the effect that we're trying to capture. And then I got another feathery one here. Just like blend that in a little bit. But like I said, if you blend it too much on an iridescent, you lose the shine. Okay, just a little here, a little there.
So you're adding, what color is that?
That's silver.
Silver.
Yep, just like that. Okay, now as you notice, what we're doing is we are building from the back forward. So this is the background when we finish the sand, and then you build all of your trees and any other, all of the other items in the painting.
Grasses.
Right. You'll work out to the very edge, which is the hibiscus hedge at the bottom of the painting.
Betsy, this looks a little bit awkward here, like I didn't get all of the dimples covered for the board. Is there
Right,
something
I
we
see
can do
that.
about that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to let you blend and mix the color to match what is already there, sort of as a, if you will, like a patch. But you're
Okay.
right. That's a bare board you can see under there, and you want to cover that up. So go ahead and try it. Oh, you got a
I'll use
brush.
this
All right, go right ahead, and I'll be right here to help you if you're got a problem with the colors. See what
I
we're.
already have a problem. It's a different color.
Well,
okay, white. I want to do white, right?
you want to do white? Well, yeah, you go ahead and do white.
Okay.
And be careful of your elbow in the paint.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I'll come over here and I'll just help you even that out. What do you think?
I like that.
Okay, now we've got those little dimples covered. I know that
Oh, I just messed up.
you know that you thrive on perfection. So I'll accommodate that. You know that I never took a lesson. I'm sort of a self-taught person, so I learned just the way you do, by, you know, like seeing something that doesn't look right and then just work on it, or working from a picture and trying to get that picture right. Okay, are you ready
That's how I'm going to learn.
Okay, I think we're ready then to put the rest of the sand in, unless you've got, oh no, I see you got to get that little edge there. And don't forget to keep water in that brush. Okay.
That's what I forgot. To
Yeah,
keep the
okay.
water heavy on the brush.
Okay, let's just get that lump out of there. All right. Okay, here's clean water, because we're moving, again, we mentioned it before, but we're moving from blue to white. And so we don't, you know, we want to get all of our water and our brushes clean. Again, that's another reason to have a sink real handy. Which brush are you going to use?
The big brush.
That's right, the big brush. Here it goes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stand
With a lot of water
a lot of water
and white.
and white.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
my
then you
white-
got two whites here that you can pick from. Always have plenty of white on your palette.
Okay.
Some people will.
Oh, not enough water.
No, you need more water. Some people will just put a little dab of every color paint on their palette, but I recommend that you put on the palette that paint which you are going to use in that painting.
Could you move that?
Yes, sure. Okay. Nice.
Even.
Nice and even, big broad strokes, fast. Like I said, I don't care if you get it in all over my
Shirt.
garage or my shirt. You know, cover it real good. Okay. Okay, very good, very good. I see it's covering really nicely. A few little
Except at
dimples down here.
Except at the top.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I don't want to ruin that median
That beach line?
of the beach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now there is a way to cover that up. We're not doing that in this painting, but I can show you a little trick that sometimes, you know how when the water splashes up, bubbles up onto the shoreline? Mm-hmm. Okay, well you could take one of your feather brushes. Okay, I just need that dry fine. And just take that and just bubble up the little foam that comes, you know, at the end of the thing.
Oh, isn't that clever? Oh, I love it.
You like that?
Oh,
All
yeah,
right,
I do.
Then finish it up. We'll just put foam on the
Oh.
beach in this painting.
Okay.
Okay? And that way
So
you
what
don't
do
have
I do? Just pound
you pound it.
And I
Yeah.
use this little.
this actually
brush
that was
almost has
this.
nothing left.
That was
It
this.
was that?
But I worked it down to that. I love that brush.
Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
So I just.
A little more
mine
up
is
on
too
the
heavy?
water than on the sand. There you go, a little splash.
Is it too heavy?
No, looks good. If you like it, I like it. By the way, who are you doing this painting for?
Gee, I don't know.
Is this a gift?
It might be a gift. It might be a gift, or I could use it on my seawall.
Oh, that
I
would
could
be great
really
on your
use a new
seawall.
painting on my seawall. I have one that's 8 years old this year.
Okay, well that's a great idea. While this beach is wet, we're going to do a little something else to give a little texture to the sand, because it looks pretty flat right now. Okay, you can use this and dab it in some of this gold and just put a beach line in, put a dune line in.
Oh.
Okay, now actually we're going to need a little,
What color? Oh, okay.
okay, yeah, in the brown sack there. See if you can come up with some sienna, but this will just sort of give you an idea of where that line is going.
Rich brown.
I'm using that iridescent gold, but I'm blending it so that it's losing its iridescent and it's just taking over as almost an ochre color. Okay.
This is about all of our brown.
Actually, I think you're in the wrong sack. Here.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh yes, it helps
Listen,
to look in the right sack.
Here's the sienna. I'm going to use a little dab of that. It has a red-brown effect, but we're going to dampen that up by putting it in some gold. That's a very, very potent color.
What is it?
Sienna, burnt sienna.
Burnt
Yeah,
sienna.
yeah, very
And what are
potent.
we
It almost
doing
looks
here?
red. We're drawing in the. It's almost pink looking. I don't like that so much. We're drawing in the dune line. You know how there are flat beaches in Florida, but then there are some that have a little line to them that's a little hill, a dune, where the you know, the railroad vine will grow down the hill and the sea grass will grow in it. Okay, they're subtle
and the
hills.
hibiscus grow in the background.
Right, or the beach sunflower. Okay, those are just lines. We're going to come back and we're going to
It's like a template.
yes,
Okay.
right. This is going to give us some direction to where the dunes and the beach or the sand drifts
Okay.
will lie. Now, what I like to do while it's still wet, is to come back, and I think if you have some black in there, let's add some black, just a little bit of black. But I like to highlight that sand by putting very intense white back in there.
Purple. Would you put your
I think you're
black
getting to
in
it.
the purple?
Oh, I could have made that mistake, but no, you're in the blue bag.
Okay.
Okay, can you begin to see this texture of the beach that we're creating? Is that clear to you, or do we?
No, I can see it.
Okay. Okay, now that's too dark.
Yes.
And we're going to
black
blend that
scares
in.
me.
Oh, okay.
Are you using that same stroke? Let's see that stroke.
Okay.
Can
We
the
just
viewers
squiggle
see
a
that
line in
stroke?
there.
Can they see it?
Okay, I'm going to let you squiggle a line in there and then feather it in.
Like
with
over
your,
the top of this one? Or an additional one?
how about down in there?
Okay.
Okay. And then feather it in with this. Okay.
Is mine dark enough?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks great.
Is that how you did it? Is that
Yeah,
the
because
motion?
what's happening is that the shadow is being created by the hill, okay, by the drift. So the shadow will be blended up behind the
So show me the motion.
okay.
Okay.
It's just a feathering. It's a feathering. All right, how's that?
That looks terrific.
Okay, our next lesson will be then going back and highlighting the clouds, determining where the light falls from the sky onto the beach, and therefore dictating where the shadows in the painting will be. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. As you remember, in our last segment, we were completing the painting in terms of getting all of the space filled on the first go-round. What we've done is we have let the top part or the sky hard dry so we can come back and give life to the clouds and determine where the direction of the light will be. While we were letting this dry, we completed the rest of the painting, the water and the beach. So now we're going to begin again today by bringing that light onto the painting. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is a bright sunny day, the sun is high in the sky, and it's directing from this side of the painting. Okay, so that means all of the shadow, all of the light and dark will emerge from this side of the painting. So keep that in mind as we progress. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Then I noticed that you kept the cover on your paints. That's great because that means they're nice and moist when we get to this next section. Okay, Sandra.
Well, I did that, and I'm all suited up in my worst paint clothes. My best paint clothes.
Well, you look mighty nice to me, so
So we're ready.
we're ready to go. Okay. the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, once again, remember, where's that light coming from? Okay, so where is the brightest part of the cloud going to be? You know when you look up in the sky and there you see the sort of a shadowy, misty look of a cloud?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where is that bright edge going to come?
I think it would tip the clouds.
Excellent, that's exactly right. Okay, how are we going to make that happen? That's now the question. We're going to take one of our little detail brushes and we're going to have one of our rags. You know, we always have to have a dry rag handy because we use this not to clean up spills and what have you, but also sometimes just to help make a detail in the painting. So, all right, what we're going to do then is we're going to get our brush nice and wet, and I'm going to do it first, and then I'm going to let you, all right?
Okay, show me.
Okay, we're going to just, in a rotating manner, and sometimes what I do is I just get in there and do a little finger painting. Okay, can you see now how that light is hitting the top of that cloud and giving it some life that it didn't have? And you remember when we did this, we laid these clouds in while the sky blue was nice and wet. And that gave us that misty look. Okay, can you see how now the light shining above, hitting the top of the cloud, directs the sun and now gives it some energy and some vitality? Okay.
It sure does, and it definitely changes it like immediately. The cloud just kind of takes a shape. It gives it that definition. It's wonderful.
Okay,
Show me.
now
Show
it's
me.
now it's your turn then.
Okay.
Now you know how I use the finger paint. Sometimes I just use also the edge of my rag. So
Okay.
you try it. I'll
All
watch.
right, so wet the brush,
Yep.
dip it in the white,
Mm-hmm.
grab my rag, then rotating motion.
Yeah, just like a circular, rotating motion. That's it. Right to the edge of the cloud, hon.
Right to the edge.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now before it dries, you want to work while it's wet. Be sure to work while it's wet. Use your finger now. You can
Okay.
use your rotating again. You want to do that circular until it just
Okay.
blends in. What you're doing is blending. You know how when you put your makeup on and you sort of blend it in? That's what you're doing here with that cloud. Okay. That's terrific. All right, now do you just keep coming down the edge of that cloud.
Stay out to the edge.
Stay out to the edge and be sure to blend it in before it dries. See now this is a
now
thin.
I'm rotating it.
Yes, she's working with a thin layer of paint right now, so that means it's going to dry even faster. That means you want to work fast. There you go, you're doing great. Jeez, that's great. All right, keep coming down.
So I touch the entire outside of
That's
it.
right, that's right.
Do I need more paint?
No, that looks great. I mean, you'll sort of get to know when you need a little more paint. The key thing is blend, 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 blend. Make it look real natural. That's great.
This blending is better now. This
Yup.
blending is.
Looks good. In fact, I'm seeing something here. Keep going, and I'm just going to add, because what I see here is I see even the slightest evidence of another cloud formation right here that sort of bubbles up on top of that cloud. There we go. Okay,
Oh, yes,
but it's
that's
still
even-
the light. All right, we want to just finish that out.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna help you out by starting on this side. Okay, you keep going over there, and I'll work on this side.
Okay.
What a
now
team, huh?
I'm rotating.
Yep, just that circular motion. That circular motion, great. All right, can you see now how that
Yes.
light hitting the clouds gives it such vitality?
I can now. What about up here? It's a
Yeah,
little
that you can go
fuzzy.
back now. See, that's now drying, and you can sort of get a feel for whether you got the intensity that you liked. Don't lose that roundness.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm losing.
And then you can go back and add to it. That so best that you go in on with a lighter hand, that you can go back and intensify.
Show
What
me
we
again.
did is I thought we got a little heavy on the white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with that, and so I just came over here, wetted the rag just a little bit, and then blended it out. That circular motion, just like a cloud, the air is moving in a circular way, creates these puffy clouds. You're doing the same thing, creating the same motion with your brush. Keep on going here, it's looking great. And I'm going to help you on this side so that we can move along. And once we get these clouds finished and highlighted and you get the feeling again of that vibrancy, that will quickly dry because that's a very light application of paint. And then we'll begin now to move forward from the background, which is sky, clouds, water, beach, to trees, beach grass, and then we'll move all the way forward to that hibiscus hedge that is what you look through to get to the beach. Okay, we're gonna go back here and continue to highlight those.
Okay.
Just mostly to the left side, your left side of the cloud. Okay, just a little bit here.
It's a little wet.
Okay. All right, now while I'm doing this, I see one little place I don't think we got, which is like up here. Just a little wispiness and maybe you can like pull this back into the cloud. You see that little thing that's sort of like bump?
Okay.
See if you can't pull that bump back into the body of the cloud. Okay. Okay. Okay, there we have it. Next thing we're going to do
Yes, that corrected it. That was the right thing.
Did great. Next thing we're going to do, far away. What's the furthest away thing now in the painting? As I've said so many times, you always want to work from the very furthest back to the very, forward. The last thing being that hedge. Okay, what's the furthest thing in the painting now?
It's taking us out into the horizon.
Right, so what's on the horizon line in the original painting that we're doing? The beachheads.
Little islands.
Those islands. Let's lay those islands in. I'm going to let you do that.
Okay.
That's right. Yep. All right. I want you to just draw a very thin line of white. You got your white on your brush. I'm going to come this way.
Small brush. I use a small brush still.
Actually, we're going to use this. It's a little heavier than that thin line one, but we want some heft to that island.
Is this a good one?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
And which edge do I use? The front,
the
flat?
very skinny, not the flat. That's going to be too wide. You want to use the heel of that.
The heel.
Yeah. Okay. All right, just bring it right across. There you go.
Now I must not have had enough paint. It's getting very dry.
Yeah, let's get a little water and a little paint. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to draw that edge out. See, this is a little wider here. You've seen it a million times out there on the horizon. Okay. And then you want to draw it down to almost a point, just the way it does in nature. You want to just bring it down to this little edge. And now I am going to move to a skinnier brush to help me get that effect.